try not to talk too much because I definitely have to study and take a midterm after I film this. But anyways, this is a Project Pan update for a Fantastic Ladies collab. All the information will be down below. Last time I filmed an update, I think was 6 weeks ago, and don't get excited because the progress isn't as much as it should have been for 6 weeks, because I'd say there was about 2.5 weeks that I wasn't wearing makeup, partially because I was on a mini vacation, and then another week was just being overwhelmed with starting school and trying to adjust, and then this past week, about half of it, I was just not wearing makeup either. It's been, you know, So after that update, I filmed a video where I added new Frankens to my palette and kind of just refreshed what I was working on, partially because I was running low on some items, and partially because I just needed something new to work with. I needed some inspiration, and there were a few shades that I wanted to start working on if I want to get close to finishing them up this year. I don't know what I'll be able to finish this year, but I'm gonna try my best, and I'm pretty happy with where I am, considering I probably have like 3 weeks worth of use. The majority of the Franken eyeshadows I'm working on are in this little e.l.f. 10 pan palette, and I will show you where I was last time compared to this time. So, as you can see, I made some decent progress. There are some notable things. First off, this guy has pan. It's been a long time coming because this is one of the originals from this year, and I only used it 3 times, but that was enough to make this big of a pan, so I guess it was just really thin in that one region. I like the looks I made with it. It's just a neutral, so it's not super exciting, but I do like it to ground looks with some of the other colors, and sometimes I just don't want color. Now this second shade is one of the new ones I added recently. I used it 4 times, including today. It's on my lids. It's an interesting color because the original color is made of was like a darker creamsicle orange with like a bluish shift, and now it's just lighter, and it still has kind of a silvery blue shift, and so I'm just trying to get used to it. It's not as metallic as I'd like, but I still like it better than the original. Now this pink one has been here for a while, and while I probably could have got a lot of pan expansion going, I only used it twice, and mostly just to blend out other looks because it is quite light and I use it more as a transition shade. Now this orange one is also one that I'm wearing on my eyes today. I just did a 2 shadow look with these two. I doubt there was much progress because I only used it twice. The dip is getting pretty deep, but not enough to actually hit pan on it that soon at the pace that I'm going. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it by the end of the year just because I'm not that drawn to it. Speaking of colors I'm drawn to, this green I used 5 times, and I don't know how you can see, but I really made the dip deeper, but I also, instead of focusing on one area, I kind of spread it out so it's not quite as like digging a hole. I really enjoyed the looks that I did with this, and I can still see a lot of other looks that I want to try using the shade. This purple I used 3 times, and it's also really pretty. I'm really enjoying it because it has a really nice metallic finish, unlike the weird texture of this orange, for instance. Now this taupe guy has been here for a while. I don't think there's much pan expansion because I only used it twice, but you know, I used it, woo! And this brown, even though I have hit pan, that's more because I dropped the palette and it crumbled a bit. I used it once and I mostly used up the crumbles from there, but yeah, not a ton of progress. It's not as dark and as pigmented as I'd like it to be, but I like the undertone of it, so that's fine. This purple one I used 4 times, and I think I filled this pan up more than this one, and it is a really pretty shade. Again, not quite as deep as I'd like it to be, but I really like blending out this color with this pink over here. Makes it a really nice gradient. And the blue I only used once, and I doubt you can see much of a difference because I just used my finger to pat it on. I didn't even take a picture of the look, it was very simple. But yeah, that is my update here. I got 1 new pan, and that's kind of it because a lot of these were new. Now the remaining 3 eyeshadows are in this little trio, so I'm going to show pictures of where it was last time compared to this time. Yo, I hit 2 pans! I this Periwinkle Silver shade twice. Not a focus shade, but I still really enjoy it. Especially, I did a look with these three together, this as a liner, this in the crease, and this on the lid. It was so pretty, and it made me realize how much I actually like this shade. I don't know why I thought it was similar to that pink shade. They really are distinct. This one's way more purple and cool toned and a bit of a grungier undertone. I used it 4 times, and one of the times was with that purple shimmer on the lid. It was such an easy, beautiful 2-shade look, and I'm just inspired to use this purple more. And this green one I actually used 7 times, which is the most out of any of the shades, and that's because I really like using it as a liner or a deepener shade. And I find it interesting that I hit like 3 pans. That's clear because I didn't press it with a machine, it was by hand, so it's uneven. But either way, look at all of that shiny pan in one tiny little palette. Now moving on to non-eyeshadow related Frankens. I had a contour last time that was in my eyeshadow palette, but I decided to use it as a contour, and I used it a total of 9 more times until it was completely done, meaning 24 times in this project. Really not that much because, again, it was an eyeshadow size that I used on my face as a contour, so that really made it go quickly. I'm just happy that another eyeshadow is out of my inventory, and I don't think I'm gonna miss it because I'm already working on my next contour, which I frankened into the place where my bronzer was, but I basically just altered the bronzer shade to make it more cool toned. Wearing it today along with a bronzer, basically an eyeshadow I mixed with the face powder. I only used this a total of 8 times in the past month because I was working on other contours and eyeshadows, so I really didn't get to focus on it until the past week, and I don't think there's much visible change because I've been swirling my brush pretty evenly across the entire pan. Now for my brow powder, I actually repressed it in my video that I will link down below where I was refrankening things, and I repressed it into a smaller pan. And as you can see, I already hit pan again very significantly. I used it 19 times, including today, and I'm probably gonna have to repress it after this update. I don't know if I can finish it by next time, but if I don't, I have a feeling I will be very close. Now the last Franken item I'm working on is my only cream product, and it is this little Franken cream blush I have in a little lip balm container, and look, there is not much left. There's a hair on it. That's a little gross. I only used it 7 times because I was really focusing on blushes in my Avatar The Last Pan Bender project pan, so this wasn't really my focus, and also I was using more warm tones in the past month, and I have a feeling I'll be focusing on cool tones this next month. But I still made a pretty decent line, at least in progress, and I can see myself using this up in the next 2 to 3 months, and I'll be very glad once it's done. I like it, but I won't miss it. You get me? So that is everything I have to update you on. I'm feeling pretty good. I am especially happy with all of the eyeshadow colors I now have to work on. There are so many color combinations that I'm constantly thinking of, and I'm like, oh wow, that'll be such a pretty color combination, that I don't feel like I will be uninspired or repeating a ton of eye looks for another few months. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have an amazing day.